So getting into some real nuts and bolts, what are the platforms that you think are most relevant for musicians right now?
Well, they're all different. So to break them down, Facebook obviously is the biggest one. It has the largest community overall globally, 3 billion people or something. It also is one of the most mature platforms. It has the lowest growth in general. It's the hardest to gain followers. It has, on the whole, lower engagement than many of the other platforms just because of how they have tweaked their algorithm. But it has the richest spread of content that you can share, in the sense that you can share photos, videos, live streams in a variety of different ways, text, etc. So links to articles and so on. So it's one that, and it has on the whole, an older demographic, which for our world, for the world of classical music, is important because our world has an older demo, and a lot of the people who make decisions in our world are on Facebook. And so a lot of artists are like, do I have to be on Facebook? And I say, yes, you have to be on Facebook. And you have to at least understand the bare minimum of what to do there, and particularly how to engage with institutions on Facebook. Because Facebook is where you can get the followers who are at those institutions and the decision makers at those institutions, and then you have a direct line of communication to them for the rest of your career. So it's important to be on Facebook.
Got it.
But to realize that it's not a growth platform. Instagram, much higher engagement on the whole in aggregate, and much easier to gain fans because people are still coming to Instagram. It's slowing down significantly. It's achieving maturity, but it's still the case. It's a much more visual platform, much more limited in terms of what you can post and how you can post it. And so you have to figure out how to represent yourself visually. So if you're somebody who likes to dive into the scores, and that's one of your story points, is that you just pour into different editions of scores and you just have this massive library, you need to take photos of those scores. You need to take photos of yourself holding those scores, etc., and figure out how to represent those things visually. Do a video of yourself talking through a score, marking it up, or a million other things. But Instagram requires that visual component to be compelling. Then Twitter, terrible, obviously, terrible platform.
We won't talk about that.
We won't talk about that. No, Twitter, I mean, the problem with Twitter is if you understand Twitter on a visceral level, and if you like to be part of the conversations that happen on Twitter and insert yourself and have that sort of witty ability to communicate in brief, pithy quotes, Twitter can be extraordinarily valuable because a lot of conversations happen there, and the more that you're in them, the more visible you are, and the more you are you become a part of the fabric of the industry. It's also, from a publicity standpoint, that sort of gray area. Journalists love Twitter. They're all on Twitter, and they have big debates on Twitter that if you can join in on, they'll flag your name, they'll flag your opinion, and they'll be more likely to cover you or to be interested in your music when they hear your name a second time. So Twitter is valuable there. Otherwise, for anything else, and if you don't just dig into that world, which most people don't, then be on Twitter, but do the bare minimum there, and only announce big things and important comments. Obviously, you're highly limited in how much you can post and how you can post it on Twitter. YouTube, you should have a YouTube account to share any video content that you own, but unless you are actively creating a dedicated strategy to video content, then you're not going to become a YouTuber. Right. And so it's not, and you don't need to worry about the number of subscribers and so on. It's really just a repository for your video content.
Okay.
And then platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, etc., like very early stage platforms, try them. If they strike a chord with you and you feel, I get this, I love making this kind of content, go for it. And early adopters often have the biggest followings and can even become a media story if you are that violist, that viola mom on TikTok. And so you can often transfer that into traditional publicity hits. That said, if you don't enjoy them, don't invest tons of time in them because they might go away, they might change, but also they might not get mass adoption. So wait until they reach maturity before you really start to invest a strategy in them.
Bye.